there was an article in The Athletic, and it was talking about Damian Lillard. I'm going to read it exactly, and then we're going to try to make this make sense. League sources say the Golden State Warriors, the Boston Celtics, and the Los Angeles Lakers are known to be among the many teams that would have interest in doing a deal sooner rather than later. The question is whether he wants to sign with the team now and rehabilitate while under their care, or wait until next summer to reassess the situation. The Bucks, who have to operate with Lillard's money clogging their books for the next 5 seasons, are banking on this latest roll of the dice paying off. So that came from The Athletic. A few great journalists that are on there. A part of The Athletic wrote the story. Who was it? It was Eric Neem, Sam Amick, and Joe Varden, who were all part of that article. Lakers and Damian Lillard. I got to be honest. When that news broke yesterday, I never really associated the Lakers with Damian Lillard. I just didn't. He's going to be out probably a year. There were some speculation that I think from Lillard's camp that he thinks maybe he would be available for the playoffs. He's 34 years old now. I think by the time the season starts, 35. You got to figure, give him a year of rehab and everything else. You're basically looking at a 36-year-old Damian Lillard or someone who's close to 36. I think there's 2 ways to look at it. Number one, the first thing I would say is I don't think there really is a fit in regards to, hey, Dame, the Lakers and the Dame, this is a match made in heaven. It's perfect. It makes all the sense in the world. I'll give you an example. Deandre Ayton to the Lakers feels like it makes all the sense in the world. Ayton to the Lakers, you're like, all right, Lakers need a center. They're desperate for a center. Ayton is a player that can really feast off of a point guard like Luka Doncic. He's in the final year of his contract. He really needs to prove to the rest of the NBA that he can still be a valuable player. He could do it. That's just kind of like a no-brainer. Everybody thinks that would be a good fit. Not to say it will work, not to say that Ayton's going to answer all the Laker problems, but you could see Lakers have a need. DeAndre Ayton needs to be on the team trying to get exposure. Okay, that could be a perfect fit. I don't see that with Damian Lillard. Here's what I do see with Dame. A lot of times in the NBA and in sports, you just get talent and you figure it out. I think that's what Damian Lillard would be with the Lakers. I think Dame, look, Luka's already on this team. A lot of Laker fans are already complaining about Austin Reeves and saying that, you got 2 guys in the backcourt. They don't play enough defense. Well, it's not like adding Dame in the backcourt, who also needs the ball in his hands. Or maybe, listen, who knows? Maybe at this stage of his career, maybe Dame doesn't need the ball in his hands as much and could just feast off of a guy like Luka. And we know that he's a clutch player. We know the bigger the moment is, it feels like Dame likes those moments. But the point that I think I'm making is, I think in the NBA, if you can just acquire talent, you get talent. And then if you could acquire talent because there's another team in the NBA paying $122 million of his contract, or $125 or whatever is left, well, you're also getting it at a very, very, very cheap price. The thing that I thought was interesting here is that many teams would have interest in doing a deal sooner rather than later. I think for the Lakers, there is a little bit. I'm sure the Warriors and the Boston Celtics, and go down the list. And why wouldn't there be 10, 12, 15 teams that are like, hey, we'd love to bring Damian Lillard in? Sure, of course. We're not paying for it. The Indiana Pacers are. Now, granted, whatever he signs with the Lakers or with the Warriors or with the Celtics, then the the Milwaukee Bucks can subtract that from whatever the total is that they owe. But he's probably going to sign for a league minimum. He has no reason. He's getting the money either way. He has no reason to hurt the team that's coming in that he's going to be playing for. I'm sure for him, it's all going to be about, well, can I go try to chase an NBA championship? It's an interesting scenario. I do like the idea and the concept of trying to make it happen sooner than later. I don't think it really fits what the Lakers kind of have in mind about getting younger, getting more athletic. I don't think that obviously fits it. But it's kind of one of those situations where we don't have to pay for Damian Lillard, or if we are going to pay, it's going to be very, very little. If we can just acquire Damian Lillard, we'll figure out the rest later. And I think that's how a lot of these teams are going to approach it. I was trying to think, what is the best scenario for Damian Lillard? What teams would be the best? What's a kind of a no-brainer? Like, oh man, Dame would actually play really, really well with this team. And I was doing some research on it, and I was looking at it, and I saw some of the different teams I saw out there. I think I saw, what are the teams that were listed on there? Cavs were listed on there. The Minnesota Timberwolves were listed on there. I saw Denver listed on there. Portland, just because obviously his time with the Portland Trailblazers, and he certainly has love for Portland. So the way I kind of look at this, and the way I guess consume the idea of Damian Lillard for me personally is, I don't think it's the best fit, but I think it's you bring in the talent and then you figure it out later. Damian Lillard is a winner. I know he's never won an NBA championship. I respect the guy. For a lot of Laker fans that used to watch 4 games a year when the Lakers would take on the Portland Trailblazers, and it was CJ McCollum or LaMarcus Aldridge or Damian Lillard. Dame's got basketball in his DNA. And I wouldn't mind seeing Damian Lillard with the Lakers. I think there's also kind of a marketing aspect to this would be great. But I think more importantly, just from a basketball perspective, you really are not – it's such a low risk. There really is nothing to, fear if Damian Lillard's on your team. The question is just going to be, when would he actually come? When would he play? And I think the other question for Dame is that where I want to go? Dame, I know originally is from Oakland. Does he have more interest of playing in the Bay because of his connections and maybe going back home? Is this his best opportunity to chase an NBA championship? And if he thought to himself, I love what Denver did, I'm going to go play for the Denver Nuggets because of their situation or their predicament. You know what? Minnesota can really use me. I'm going to go there. They've got to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. I think I could be a difference maker. We'll have to wait and see. But I will tell you that there's got to be a lot of interest for Damian Lillard, because you're not paying him $50+ million a year to bring him on your team. You literally could potentially pay him the league minimum, and then, obviously let things happen from there. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.